Chapter 1. Milo was having a very big feelings day. It all started at school when he didn't get picked for the soccer team. His stomach sank like a rock, his cheeks felt hot, his eyes got watery, but he blinked fast so no one would see. "It's fine," he mumbled, even though it wasn't fine. At recess, Milo didn't want to play. At lunch, he just poked his sandwich, and after school, he stomped to the park by himself. "I don't care," he said out loud, even though he did care. He cared a lot. That's when he saw it. At the far end of the park, next to the old oak tree, something shimmered in the sun. It looked like a bus stop sign, but it wasn't there yesterday. The sign sparkled with swirls of rainbow colors, and just as Milo got closer, whoosh! A big, shiny, bubbly bus rolled up with a soft hiss and a pop, pop, pop of bubbles. It looked like it was made of soap and sunshine. The wheels were clear like crystal. The windows sparkled like they were winking. The doors opened with a soft whoosh, and a kind voice called out, "Milo, hop on in, sweetie." A woman in a big purple hat waved from the driver's seat. She wore a jacket covered in patches shaped like hearts, stars, and smiley faces. Her name tag read, Captain Sunny. Milo blinked. "How do you know my name?" Captain Sunny smiled. "This bus only shows up for kids with big feelings." Milo looked around. No one else seemed to notice the glowing bus. The playground swings kept swinging. Birds kept chirping, but this felt different. "Big feelings," he whispered. "Sad ones, mad ones, glad ones, any kind you've got," said Captain Sunny with a wink. "We're headed to places where you can understand those feelings better." Milo took a deep breath. Then he climbed aboard. Inside, the bus was even stranger and cooler. The seats were squishy like marshmallows. The lights twinkled like jelly beans. The windows looked out into swirling clouds of pink and blue. He wasn't alone. 3 other kids were already on board. One boy was chewing his fingernails and bouncing his knees. One girl kept giggling at everything, even the empty seat next to her. And another girl sat with her arms crossed and a grumpy look that could melt ice. Captain Sunny pressed a glowing button and bubbles floated up from the ceiling. "Next stop," she called out. "Worryville." Milo grabbed the armrest as the bus took off, not down the road but up into the sky. And just like that, the journey began. Chapter 2. The bubble bus floated through the clouds like a big soapy balloon. Milo pressed his face to the window. "Whoa," he whispered. Below them were parks, houses, tiny cars, and teeny people who looked like ants. Above them, bubble trails and sparkly stars, even though it was still daytime. Captain Sunny turned the wheel and the bus made a gentle spin. "Hold on, friends. First stop, Worryville," she called. The bus dipped lower and lower, landing with a soft plop on a twisty, curly road lined with big what-if signs. Milo stepped out of the bus. The air felt heavy, like a rainy day without rain. The houses all had tiny fences and double locks and careful signs in the yards. One house had an umbrella on the mailbox, just in case. The boy from the bus, Joey, hugged his arms and looked nervous. "I don't like this place." Captain Sunny smiled gently. "That's okay. It's called Worryville for a reason." Just ahead was the jumpy jungle. The trees were bouncy, the vines jiggled, the ground wobbled like jelly. Joey took a step forward and froze. "What if I fall? What if I mess up? What if I look silly?" Milo looked back at the wobbly bridge ahead. It did look tricky. Captain Sunny stepped beside them. "Everyone worries sometimes, but we can do things to help our worries feel smaller." "Like what?" Joey asked. "Let's try a few," she said. First, deep breaths. The kids all took a big breath in and let it out like a big sigh. Next, name your worry. Joey thought for a second. "I'm worried I'll fall, and everyone will laugh." "Thank you for sharing that," said Sunny. "Now tell your worry something kind." Joey blinked. "Like, it's okay to be scared, but I'm still gonna try?" "Perfect," said Sunny. They walked slowly into the jumpy jungle. The vines bounced. The leaves shook. Milo slipped once but caught his balance. They all made it to the other side. Joey smiled. Milo grinned back. "You didn't fall." Joey laughed. "I still looked silly, though." "And that's okay," said Captain Sunny. Bubbles floated up from the jungle and wrapped gently around them. Milo looked back at the sign that read, "You've just left Worryville. Come again, if you want." The bus door opened again. Next stop, Giggle Grove. Chapter 3. The bubble bus bounced gently as it floated away from Worryville. Inside, the kids were quiet for about 3 seconds. Then the girl with the red headband started giggling. Did you see Joey's face when he slipped on the banana vine? She laughed. It was like, whoa, whoa, poop! Joey chuckled. Hey, it was slippery. Even Milo smiled a little. Captain Sunny looked back from her seat. Sounds like someone's ready for our next stop. The bus spun in the air and swooshed down into a land full of silly sounds and wild colors. A bright pink sign came into view. Welcome to Giggle Grove. The trees had googly eyes. The grass giggled when you stepped on it. A flock of ducks in top hats danced by, quacking a polka tune. Milo blinked. Is this place for real? The red-headed girl burst into laughter. This is amazing! In the middle of the grove was a giant tickle trampoline. The kids bounced higher and higher, laughing as bubbles popped under their feet. Even Milo bounced a little, just a little. But then something happened. Joey tripped and bumped into a pile of pudding pies. Splat! Milo rushed over. Are you okay? Joey looked surprised, a little shaky. Before he could answer, the red-headed girl laughed so hard she fell over. Oh my gosh, pudding pie face! Joey's smile faded. He looked down. I wasn't trying to be funny, he said softly. Captain Sunny stepped in. Lila, remember, giggles are great, but sometimes feelings are bigger than funny. Lila blinked. Oh, I didn't mean to hurt his feelings. Joey nodded. It's okay, I just didn't like being laughed at. Milo gently said, we all love to laugh, but sometimes someone just needs us to listen instead. Lila looked at Joey. I'm really sorry. Joey smiled. Thanks. Captain Sunny clapped her hands. What a wonderful lesson. The bus doors opened again, and a breeze full of bubbles floated by. Next up, said Sunny with a wink, Anger Falls, buckle up! Chapter 4. The bubble bus zoomed up into the sky again, leaving behind the silly songs and bouncing trees of Giggle Grove. Inside the bus, things felt a little quieter. Milo looked over at Tessa, the girl with the crossed arms and grumpy face. She hadn't laughed once in Giggle Grove. Captain Sunny glanced at the glowing wheel. Looks like we're ready for our next stop, Anger Falls. The sky turned red-orange as the bus floated down through misty clouds. They landed near a rocky canyon with steaming puddles and bubbling mud. A huge wooden sign read, Welcome to Anger Falls. Watch out for lava, Tessa sighed. Great. As they followed the path, the ground started to rumble. Milo looked around nervously. Was that thunder? Captain Sunny pointed ahead. Not thunder. That's the volcano monster. It stood tall in the middle of a steaming pit, puffing smoke out of its ears. Its eyes were wide and its cheeks were red, and boy was it loud. Roar! The volcano monster roared, tossing a big squishy boulder into the air. Joey yelped and ducked. Why's it so angry? Captain Sunny said softly, because it's full of big feelings that haven't had a chance to come out kindly. Tessa crossed her arms tighter. Sounds familiar? Suddenly, a bridge up ahead cracked. They couldn't get across. We're stuck, Joey said. Milo looked at Tessa. You okay? Tessa clenched her fists. No, I'm not okay. This whole trip is annoying and that thing won't stop yelling and I'm mad too. The volcano monster looked over. Me too, it shouted. It stomped its big feet, shaking the ground. Captain Sunny stepped forward gently. Tessa, what would help right now? Tessa took a deep breath. I don't know, maybe just not being told to calm down all the time. Good start, said Sunny. Let's try a cool-off countdown together. They all stood still. 5, 4, 3. They breathed together. 2, 1. The volcano monster let out a small burp of steam and then sat down with a plop. Phew, it sighed. Milo giggled. That's better. Tessa cracked a smile. I feel better too. Captain Sunny smiled. Sometimes when we say how we feel out loud, it helps us cool down inside. A stone bridge rose from the ground. The bubble bus rolled forward once more. Next stop, the Heart House. Chapter 5. The bubble bus rolled out of Anger Falls, steam puffing behind them like little sleepy clouds. Inside the bus, things were quieter. Not sad quiet, just peaceful quiet. Like when you've been through something big and you finally take a breath. Milo sat beside the window and looked out. The sky was turning soft and purple, like cotton candy at bedtime. Captain Sunny smiled. One last stop, my friends? The Heart House. The bus gently floated down to a cozy hill with twinkly lights in the trees and lanterns shaped like stars. At the top of the hill sat a treehouse with a warm, glowing light. The kids climbed out quietly. No one was bouncing, no one was shouting. Even the giggling grass was still. Inside the Heart House, there were beanbags shaped like hearts, books full of feelings, and soft music that sounded like hugs. There was a big table in the middle with little glass jars, one for each of them. Each jar held a small glowing feeling stone. Captain Sunny handed one to each child. "To remind you," she said softly, "that all your feelings matter, the happy ones, the mad ones, the scared ones, and even the wiggly, mixed-up ones." Milo's jar glowed a gentle blue. He held it to his chest. This makes me feel warm." Tessa gave a tiny smile. "Mine is warm too," Joey whispered. "Mine's buzzing a little," Lila said. "Mine just burped." Everyone giggled. Captain Sunny chuckled. "They're magic, after all." The kids sat together in the quiet glow of the Heart House, sipping warm cocoa and talking about their day, what made them laugh, what made them cry, and what made them proud. When it was time to go, the bubble bus slowly floated down from the hill and brought them back to the park where it all began. Milo stepped off the bus last. "Will I see you again?" he asked Captain Sunny. She gave him a wink. "Whenever your feelings get really big, just look for the bubbles." With a soft pop, the bus vanished into the sky. Milo looked up, holding his glowing jar, and smiled. Then he walked home, feeling just a little more brave, a little more kind, and a whole lot more understood.